or I should say I haven't really left my street. So yeah, I went to the convenience store a couple of times. That's some good exercise. Social anxiety and language. It's a good combo, you know? And welcome back to my channel. My name is Angie and I make videos about my life and struggles here in South Korea as an international student. If you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be uploading every Wednesday and Sunday. So some of you guys know today will also be my first live stream, so I'm very excited to see you guys at 7 p.m. tonight. If you guys watched the last video, you guys know that I was saying that I lost the footage for the questions that I answered while student was dyeing my hair. I'm just gonna quickly answer the questions that I received just because I did promise you guys I would answer more questions about my degree. And then I did want to talk about the culture that I found here that might shock some of you guys, I think. I don't know. We'll see how we go. You guys can definitely let me know in the comments below whether or not it shocked you guys. How has your Korean improved since you started learning? To be honest, like a bit, because teaching program isn't that great, but also I'm a real student, but it's not that great either. So yeah, if you guys want to study Korean, like you guys gotta look for a good course. Mine's not that good, trust me. Did you find it difficult to do things in Korea without knowing Korean? 1000% yes. It was really difficult, and literally I had the hardest time getting around. But then again, I barely know what's going on in English anyway, so then again, that's like my whole life. Anywhere that's not like Seoul, Incheon, Busan, maybe Pyeongtaek, most of those areas outside of that areas don't really speak a lot of English. I'm scared I will go to the Taekwondo degree and find that it is not as advanced and might be boring. Did you find this? It's a very different type of degree. You're gonna find things that are like advanced, you're gonna find things that are like not as advanced, but that's kind of like the whole thing. You have to go back and forth between basics to build a good foundation so then you can learn even more and teach other people properly. Technically it is my first semester here, so I still have a lot to really figure out, but from what I've kind of done so far, which is 80% online, like it's not boring, but it's not immensely amazing either, if that makes sense. There are subjects where you just like confuse why it's in there. Like my friend Tom has golf this semester, so you're gonna have really weird subjects depending on your university, and sometimes you learn a lot of stuff that you probably didn't learn before coming here. So I only actually learned up to Tebek for the patterns, Pumse, and then now we have to learn up to Sipjin, I'm pretty sure. I haven't practiced patterns or competed in like Pumse for like 3 years now, so my Pumse skills are like very rusty. Also, I probably will be performing those Pumse for like our final exam. We're not sure yet. I don't punch you. Is being in a sparring club time consuming? Did you find it hard to juggle everything? Kinda. Depending on university, you may or may not have daily training, and if you do, it is going to be quite hard if you have to work as well, or if you have to do extra classes to do like Korean, or to do extra classes as catch-up or anything like that. You have to be really cautious with your time when you first get here until you kind of settle in and understand what's going on. When it comes to seasonal training, it's not as bad, I guess, because there's no university, so you're just doing like 2 to 3 sessions a day. Yeah, you just have to make sure you're prioritizing what needs to be done first. Like, I understand that a lot of you guys want to come here for training, but at the same time, if you need to work, you need to work. That's kind of the way I'm gonna say it. So basically, I stopped training for a couple of months now just because I've had to work, and obviously, you know, Corona's not been great recently, so there's been no work, and then I've just been like resting up and dealing with my depression and yada yada yada. So I've been a hermit for this last week. I have not left my house, or I should say I haven't really left my street. So yeah, I went to the convenience store a couple of times. That's some good exercise. Did you find it hard to be in a uni club? To be honest, at first I did, and I still can't find it hard like on a social aspect. Like, I'm socially awkward, and by the time I started, everyone already pretty much had like their own little groups because everyone was already did like winter training and stuff together. So I was kind of just like this new foreign weird chick that just rocked up, and like the coach is just insanely like nice to me because I'm a foreigner, so I'm just like. Plus the whole language thing, social anxiety and language. It's a good combo, you know? Match made in heaven. Majority of the people are quite nice to me. I just still feel really bad that I don't really understand what's going on. Is the training difficult compared to the training that you did in Australia? It's not anything insanely more difficult. It's more that it is more consistent. So at first, like, your body's gonna be like, holy I can't keep up with this because I don't do like daily 2-hour workouts like this all the time. With time, your body does get used to it, so that's kind of what I found, which is the usual anyway when I take a break. Once competitions rolling closer, or if it's the seasonal training, I've been told that it gets harder. I don't doubt that because some of the exercises that we've done or drills that we've had to do, but also not understanding the language is another reason why the training feels a lot harder to me, because I have to kind of like just eyeball what everybody else is doing. Then Tom will kind of like be nice enough and do me a solid and like explain what's going on. But if he can't, I just have to eyeball it, and then sometimes like they get a bit upset with me, which I totally understand, and then a lot of the times they try to like slow it down so I understand what's going on. I just still feel really bad. So that's pretty much all the questions, but there's one thing I really want to talk to you guys about: Sonsudan culture, which is basically something that not a lot of people really know about. Like, I didn't even know it had a name. I was just kind of like, it feels like jock nature, and then Jin and a friend were like, no, we call that Sonsudan Monghua. So the basic concept of it is a rigid hierarchy which demands for obedience and loyalty to seniority and authority. Basically, it's kind of like a bullying system, realistically. Depends on the seniors as well. Some seniors are quite nice, some seniors not so nice. You also have to be part of the it crowd. It's like frat boy, sorority girl energy kind of stuff, if that makes sense. The higher grade you are, the more power per se you have over everybody else that's like under you. For example, even though I'm like pretty much older than everyone on the team now, I am still technically only a first year. With that being said, I have like zero power, which sounds weird to say because like in Australia we don't really care about who's got power and whatnot. Like, I was attending classes at my university with like 4th years or like first years who were like 50, 60 years old, and I was like, this is chill, this is fun. But here it's like, oh, what grade are you in? Oh, you have to call me like someday or whatever. And I was just like I'm all for the culture, but then when you see what they do at times, you're like, that's a bit concerning there. So there is a lot of psychological trauma and damage done, but also in extreme cases there can be physical damage or injuries as well. Like I said, a lot of you guys know that Koreans value seniority. It's like a Korean culture thing, but it's a lot more severe in sports majors. Sonsudan culture is not just limited to Taekwondo students, it's actually like the whole broad spectrum of like sports majors students. And then Jin was telling me that half of his cousins are athletes in university, and that's like the mentality that he sees from them compared to him who's doing like a business degree instead. Once you're in, you're in. And because I came late and I have like zero friends in that sense, I'm just kind of like awkwardly on the outside floating by myself. It's pretty depressing when I say it like that. I would say though, my uni is really nice compared to other universities that Jin and Co showed me, and I was like, okay, that's really bad. The reason why I brought this up, especially conjoining it with the questions on my degree, is that you guys, if you haven't trained in a Korean atmosphere before or trained in Korea, you don't see this culture and it doesn't shock you as much. The reason why I never realized is because my dojang back in Sydney was pretty much Sonsudan culture. Even though I know some of them will probably watch this later on or whatever and be like, no, we don't have that kind of culture. Yes, you do. You have that culture. It is there. You just don't show it as much as the Koreans do. Yes, I had to talk about this in therapy, and my therapist was appalled by the behavior, but that's a story for another time. And then the first 3 times I came to Korea, I went straight to a Korean sports high school. So basically, my exposure to Korean culture was literally all Sonsudan culture, which is why I thought that like that was normal Korean culture. And so when I first met Jin, when we were like friends, and then when we started dating, I was like to him, I'm like, hey, is this normal? And he's like, what the f? No, that's not Korean culture. And I'm like, so you guys have to be aware of this. It is something that happens a lot. It doesn't really get talked about. Like, you didn't see it. You kind of saw it in sports university dramas, I guess, but they don't bring it out as much as it is actually in real life. For once, they didn't exaggerate something in a K-drama. With that being said, a lot of Korean students don't like Sonsudan culture. For example, my university had a media kind of fight between some of the general department kids, where, you know, general subjects, and then the sports major department kids. The general department were having issues because the sports department were training around the campus, which is fine, but they specifically like to be very loud next to the library during exam periods. And so obviously general department was very upset with sports department, so they made it pretty very vocal on Facebook. So yeah, like a lot of Koreans basically just think like sports students or Sonsudan culture is just muscle heads, pure muscle heads. Like there's no brain cells in them and stuff like that, which I kind of get why they think that. Let me explain. So I can understand the general department's feelings because they're like, why are you like behaving like this? You guys behave like kids and animals and whatnot, and like you guys don't even try and study and stuff. But the thing is, with the sports departments, like the only way they kind of get through life is through all their sports endeavors. So perhaps from young they knew that they couldn't study, and the only way for them to get anywhere in life was to realistically do sports. That's a reality that I understand for like sports major kids in that situation. Sometimes the general kids understand, sometimes they don't. Like it's a kind of hard topic to really openly discuss, I guess. I can understand like the general department's point of view, but I can also understand the sports point of view. Like training is really hard, and if you have to put your life on the line for it, you are going to push yourself and you're going to seem like, in a sense, cocky and loud and stuff, but you're trying to make sure you motivate yourself to do better because this is like your whole life. So yeah, that's pretty much the beef, I guess. I don't even know if it's beef or tea. So yeah, that's basically like Sonsudan culture. If you guys are planning to come here to study a sports degree, you do need to kind of be aware of that and the fact that it actually is like a whole culture kind of thing here. So you guys can obviously Google it or YouTube it as well. You'll see a lot of videos and articles about it. I'm not making this up, trust me. The point of this part was for me to explain to you guys that a lot of you guys generalize and idolize Korean culture as something that can't do any wrong. And a lot of you guys be like, no, I know Korea does this and that wrong, but at the same time, you guys are still idolizing Korea. No country on this earth has no mistakes, right? I'm sure we're all aware of this. Some get their mistakes highlighted a lot more than others. Some kind of brush under the rug, right? So with that being said, do not idolize countries. I cannot say this enough because I keep getting messages from you guys saying like, what's it like dating a Korean boy? What's it like doing this in Korea? Like I totally am here to like explain that stuff, right? But a lot of you guys are asking me stuff that I know what you want to hear, but what I'm going to say is not what you want to hear. And you guys are going to get upset with me because I don't lie to you guys. I don't really sugarcoat too many things. So with that being said, you guys aren't going to be quite happy with my response. So all I'm saying is that do not idolize and pardon countries the way you would do for a celebrity, if that makes sense. Do your research and fully understand the culture and the country and its history as well, not just what you see currently in the media. You guys all spew, oh, the media is a lie, the media is a lie. Yeah, the media is pretty much a lie. So do your research. Don't just come running to like the first country you can think of that has like K-pop or something. Like I'm not trying to attack any K-pop stands or anyone right now. All I'm saying is be aware, because I didn't even realize that I thought like Korean culture was pretty much that toxic. In that sense, Sonsudan culture is very, very toxic, and I perceive that as Korean culture in general, to be honest, because of my experiences, and I never addressed it. I want you guys to understand that there is different parts of Korea that you don't normally see in the media unless you are literally in Korea. And yeah, so if anyone thinks I'm actually like attacking them or anything, just understand this. I don't like people in general. Like I like people, but I also don't like people, if that makes sense. I don't know how to really explain that. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. But anyways, that's pretty much today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something new. Let me know if you guys did. So tonight I will be streaming at 7 p.m. and I'm super excited to see you guys there. You guys are more than welcome to drop any questions and I'll be answering all the questions. I will also be having dinner, so I hope you guys will join me for that. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a big thumbs up and a comment. If you didn't, let me know anyway. If you want to stay in tune for my videos every Wednesday and Sunday, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to check out my TikTok and Instagram. You guys will be able to catch any polls or questions or topics or anything like that on there as well. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say. I just hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, week, and until I see you guys next time, don't forget to smile. Bye!